everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kyle. The channel's called Kyle by the Creek. Please like and subscribe if you like small engine repair. Let me show you what we got today. We got a bunch of neglected and left behind mowers. This all came from my local repair shop, and yeah, we've been getting a bunch of stuff from them lately as customers abandon their machines that they don't want to spend any more money on repairing. They call me and they say, we got 4 or 5 things here if you want them for cheap, and I got this batch for $150. So this one probably looks like the thing that will be the majority of the content here. So this Cub Cadet unfortunately has a blown transmission, and they're pretty sure that it's not like a belt issue. It's going to need a transmission swap, or I just use this for parts. But it's got one of these older style 17.5 horsepower Briggs. I like these though. Those are good simple engines that usually run really nice. So the whole thing's in decent shape. I mean, it's all complete and it doesn't look too beat on. And then these things I know nothing about, but they didn't know anything about them either. They kind of just got lumped in a pile. But yeah, front wheel drive. This one, all the cables work. Engine pulls over, feels a little funny though. Maybe just the pull cord is short. I don't know if I try. That's just a push mower. I don't know. This is an interesting one. It's got this touch and mow, like almost like a safety key, it says. The run position is there. And then it does have a push button start. The cable doesn't feel like it's engaging, so that might be the problem there. Not a very appealing looking mower. I find most people aren't really interested in the green and yellow Yardman things, but probably would be a nice lawnmower with the high rear wheels and everything. So, especially with push button, I don't know. So we'll look into that. Maybe that's going to be savable. And then, you know, one of these. These are everywhere. Really about the cheapest mowers you can get at any store. And starting to see a lot of these engines. You know, here's another one. I forget what you call these ones, but plastic carburetor. You know, I find that they just don't want to run. They just don't want to run. But lots of trouble with air leaks on the carbs, and even like the exhaust bolts backing out and things like that. I've had a lot of trouble with these engines, but they seem to be a dime a dozen now. Anyway, that's what we have. Probably spend most of the time on this guy. I might take all the push mowers that I have and put them all in one video. I don't know what the order of events will be. Maybe you've seen that, maybe it hasn't come out yet, I don't know. But I'm thinking of getting, I have like 10 or 12 push mowers. I might just try to do a repair-a-thon. But yeah, first thing first with this is hear it run. You know, test out the trans, inspect the transmission, see if that's something I can replace. I doubt I'm going to be able to repair it. And just sort of assess things. You know, maybe it's just a parts machine, but hard to know at this stage, guys. You know, I don't know how the video is going to end up, but regardless, you have to start filming. So that's sort of the fun with all this. All right, let's dive in. Oil looks halfway decent, maybe a little over full. Just noticed that it's also a electric PTO for blade engagement. I got the parking brake on, the jump pack is on. Let's see if this thing fires off. Ooh, choke wasn't all the way up. Sounds great. Don't stall now. Run! Didn't. All right, so maybe idle needs to be adjusted a bit. Wants choke. Well, that was a great test. I'm pretty impressed that the electric PTO engaged as well as it did. I'm just running off of a jumper pack. A lot of times you need a decent battery to have that happen, but it sounded a little funny when the blades engaged, like the engine was surging a little bit, and that could have been because I'm doing everything off a jumper pack, but could have also been, you know, maybe it needs a carb clean or something like that. Engine, though, sounds really nice. And it does drive, as you could tell, but it does not feel good. You can feel some things in the pedal. You can hear some metallic clanking going on in the trans. He did say, the owner of the shop did say that, you know, there was a gear that was blown out. I don't know if that means he could see it or if he just knows that it's blown out because of the way that it's acting. But yeah, it definitely doesn't feel good. I still want to inspect it, you know, since the trans does work. Maybe we're talking about some belt issues or pulley issues, you know, something like that still could be what's going on there, and that would obviously be awesome if it was just something simple, easy to replace. I mean, I know the trans isn't that hard to take out. It's more for me, like, I haven't really done that before, and also I don't know offhand if I have a replacement transmission. So all right, let's get back to work eventually on this 1170 Cub Cadet. What do you think, buddy?
Good.
Well, now that we know this thing runs and it does actually drive, although it's in transmission's in terrible shape, makes a lot of loud noises, we do want to talk about, or at least think about, swapping out the transmission. So I have an interesting idea here. I have a gray tractor down the hill there. I don't know if you can see that, but I started filming a project with that, but I ended up taking the engine off of that thing and using it for something else. Actually, I use it for the Craftsman LT4000, the 1991, my best video that I have on my channel. So that engine eventually went on to that thing, but I think I can use the trans because it's just like this thing. It's an FNR, just a forward, neutral, reverse, and you know, I think it's gonna work. So we're gonna go down there and check it out, and if it looks like it might bolt up, we're gonna fire up the 1987 Yamaha Big Bear 350 quad that I have, that I don't think you guys have seen, and we'll tow that gray Craftsman up the hill here. So got some tow straps. Let's go see if we can get that done. All right, just giving a quick look here how this bolts up. I mean, you know.
I'll meet you down by the tree.
All right, I'll meet you down there, buddy. I actually really don't have much experience swapping out transmissions. I've done a lot more with engines than I have with actually I've done like nothing with transmissions. I really, yeah. Pretty inexperienced in that area. But all right, let's go down the hill, meet up with the kid. Mowed this about a week or two ago. Looking good. think I mowed it at the perfect time of year because now the grass is really slowed down. The weeds have slowed down. Oh, you got it hooked up already. Pretty light tractor. I think I have the mowing deck off it too. Oh yeah, there's no mowing deck on it too. All right, so I think this is gonna work. So you got the FNR, and you know, this one. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one. That's like, where's the controls? This one had this sort of terrible design that no one really likes, but hopefully, you know, the hydrostatic or the variable drive system will work. I don't know. Do you think it will? Maybe it won't, because the Cub Cadet's variable drive, and this is this variable drive. It should be, right? Do you call this variable drive? I don't know. Well, let's get it up the hill. We'll find out. I've been doing this thing where the mower from the last video starts the next video. So we're selling this thing, and I'm getting a, well, obviously I'm getting cash, but I'm also getting a Craftsman mower that probably doesn't work and a snowblower that probably doesn't work. So it's great to sell this. It's been on the market for, I don't know, a week and a half, not too long. And for the most part, I'm getting my asking price. We're doing $2,100 plus 2 trade-ins. I'm pretty pumped about that. And we'll see what kind of condition these 2 machines are in. Just dropped off the Cub Cadet zero turn, and this is what we're back with. A really junky Craftsman LT 1500. And a tiny, very old snapper snowblower. It says they both work. The tractor I drove up on the trailer doesn't really turn left. And it surges like crazy, so, you know, beat up. It's got a 17.5 horsepower engine on it, so I don't know, maybe is that engine better off on some other machine? Maybe. Missing the headlight lens. Deck looks to be in good shape. I don't know. Maybe it's worth seeing if we can fix it up right. I'm not going to sell for a lot, but definitely worthy as a project though. All right, let's get to work. Should we drive this thing off the trailer together? See how she does. Hey. All right, let's take everyone inside the shed. There's not much in here actually. I'm underutilizing this shed right now, but yeah, I do have
to be a lot of stuff in here.
Got the trike, and got the Big Bear 350. So let's turn the fuel on, turn the key on.
I'm gonna get that.
This thing just wants to run, just needs a little gas. This thing even has nice LEDs on it. Pretty sweet. You guys are gonna love this reverse cable. Oh, you hooked it up? I probably need to shorten that. That's how you do reverse. It would normally be there. That's a spark plug remover and a steel rod. Works great. Oh, that's where the boy hooked it up. Nice spot. Let's see what we can do. No, you're not going to ride on the tractor. That's going to be dangerous. I really wish I had a ball. Well, I got to figure out how I want to do this, but I don't want the rope to be that long. We got it hooked up like this now. Doubled up the rope. We're going in the front. Still pretty long. Do you want to film? Here, turn yourself around so you can watch the tractor.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and I'll stick my feet through.
No, I wouldn't stick your feet in that way. You don't want to trap yourself. You could let your feet dangle over the side. Yeah. And then hold this. And you can film the tractor as we're going up the hill.
Yeah, but don't go too fast.
I will not go fast. I'll go nice and slow.
Then I'll like fall.
I won't go. I got you too. I got you.
And the tractor's moving.
Nice and light. No engine, no mowing deck. Oh no, it's going off track. You gotta film it. Show the people. Show YouTube. There you go.
Yeah,
Oh, you got it in camera. Good.
yeah, and also it's like sort of going up the hill.
Hopefully that bumper stays on.
Yeah.
Alright, start again for your...
We're actually going up a hill. I know it doesn't look like and we're up. But it's still driving. Oh, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Okay, I'm gonna hop off. So, it has no mower. I mean, no engine.
Yeah, no engine.
You can see right through it.
Yep. We borrowed that engine. Oh, nice. A muffler.
Yay!
We'll throw that in the pile of good parts. Yeah, there'll be a lot of things we could probably scavenge off this. We could paint, yeah, we could paint that. Sure. All right, so we got to, maybe we'll just like tip this up and see what the underbelly looks like.
This thing is good.
Yeah, some good parts. Pretty good wheels.
Oh yeah, the bill is green.
Okay, so yeah, we do have a variable drive system. I think this trans is gonna work out just fine. I mean, obviously, like you guys could tell already, I'm not familiar with doing this, but like I can see now that, you know, this variable system is not necessarily tied in to the trans, so we really just need that one pulley. I don't know if all this will have to come over. It probably doesn't need to. Trip over the muffler there.
But the belt was pretty hard.
The belt, yeah, don't worry about that. We'll get that off. All right, so what should we do? We should probably take the mowing deck off of this and then do the similar thing. Maybe we'll get the Cub Cadet in here. Hey, it's this project. I hope by the time this video comes out, this thing is sold. But this thing's sitting pretty in my shed right now, so I gotta get that out. Maybe I could put that down below, clear up some room, but I don't know, a lot of times I like to keep the nicest machine in here, especially if I just listed it, because people are gonna want to test this thing out. So, so far no one's come by to see it, so. But yeah, let's get it out of the shed. We'll get the Cub Cadet in there and take a look at that trans. What do you got? Was that a bubble thing or a squirt gun? I think that was bubbles, right? Yeah, bubbles. Nice.
Yeah. I don't know how to get bubbles inside of it, but...
Gotta have some bubble solution. I think I'm just now realizing how good of a shape this thing is in. Look at this mowing deck. The paint still actually looks nice. You know, even on this tractor. A little bit there. I wonder if I have some Cub Cadet yellow. I used to keep a little on hand. This thing's pretty nice. Oh, chewed up. Everything looks really dry down there, like it's not leaking any oil. Oh, yeah, just like, I don't know, haven't really looked at this thing much, but yeah, that deck is pretty nice there. And it's really easy to take these off, like the rear connections there, and then it's got the bar that goes through there. And then of course this is an electric PTO, so it's even easier to take off. A little harder to install because this goes on tight, but not that bad. Let's get this thing in the shed. We'll get it lifted up with the chain hoist and we'll take a look underneath. Cub Cadet is in and tilted up. It's our first look at the transmission, and it is different. It's got a really big pulley on there. I actually wonder if that transmission on that Craftsman won't work here. I don't know. I mean, I could always put the pulley on it, right? I actually have another transmission that's off a tractor, and I know it has a large diameter pulley like that. Let's go back down to that green shed and we'll drag it up. Take a look, see if that will work. That's a hydrostatic trans. Here we go. Well, I don't know. Let's bring this up and take a close look. Lug it up the hill. So I don't think this is going to work. This seems like it's like a 6-speed. It's got multiple clicks there. Like the pulley looks like it might be the right size, but alright, I still think the trans I have in the Craftsman might work here. Probably just have to do a pulley swap on it and put this pulley on the Craftsman transmission. I guess, I mean, we know this thing's shot, so we should just start working on getting it unbolted. This is like the wrong way to have it to unbolt it, but I might just get those bolts loose and then put the nose down, lift the rear end up, and then finish off getting this transmission out of here. So we'll get these wheels off. It's going to make it a lot easier to access these 1/2-inch bolts here on top, and it'll make it a lot easier to remove this thing in general. So let me get those popped off. Really budging. All right, maybe I'll leave the wheels on. One bolt. There's two. One. And two. So it should be loose. I guess just the belt is holding it on now. I don't know. There's probably some like side brace or something. Gotta find that. Alright, from what I can tell, we got like the brake here. You have your shifter, but that looks like it'll just easily come out that end. I don't even think I have to undo anything. As soon as this drops, it's going to come out of there. And then there's like two bolts right there. I think that's all that's holding it on, or those two bolts on the other side. So we'll buzz those off. Okay. I think we really are just held on by the belts at this point. Should probably get this thing a bit lowered. Yeah, let me lower this down a bit. So it's out. Bit of a struggle. But that's what we're working with. So yeah, that's not the same transmission as my guess. You might really need to be looking for a very specific one. But you can see the hole in the bottom of the transmission now. And that's what I was told was there, so at least that lines up. Alright, so there's a sticker on there. We can find what kind of trans we have. But yeah, I don't think this is going to work. I'm going to give it one more look though. Yeah, I mean, the Cub Cadet trans has two pulleys on it. This one, yeah, it just has the variable and a medium-sized pulley. This one, the variable is actually attached to it, and it's got quite a big pulley there. So, yeah. All right. I guess these two projects don't mash up. This one is proving to be pretty useless. Alright, really just mulling things over here. Haven't done much, but I mean, one idea could be to crack this open. You know, maybe I can fix it, and then it can go back in there. Is that possible? The other thing I'm thinking is just taking all of this, all these guts with it, all this variable drive stuff, even though it's different over here. I mean, I could take this bracket out and then put the Craftsman guts in there. I don't know. That might work. I really don't know. I'd just be guessing. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I looked on Marketplace. There's the exact same transmission for 50 bucks in Virginia. Yeah, I'm not going to Virginia. I'm in Connecticut. Nothing on eBay. There are some local guys near me. I could check them out, but I have a feeling this is kind of an oddball transmission. Could be wrong. So yeah, probably don't have to make any drastic decisions today. I could really just look on the market, see what I can find. It'd be really nice to get these wheels off. Alright, well, here she is. Now, this transmission, at least this exact one, I cannot find anywhere. My local tractor guys don't have it. eBay has one for, it'd be almost $300 by the time it gets shipped to me. So that doesn't seem like a good option. Someone local, well, someone an hour away from me had it. And I spent the week contacting that person. You know, is it available? I'm a serious buyer. Please. And the guy would look at my messages, you know, one of those things, and then never reply. Really frustrating. Just today, he finally said, sold, period. Like, oh, okay. Thank you. So that was the only one. The thing is that it was going to be $30, so that was quite a deal. I was going to drive an hour away for that. But yeah, so this is not looking good to get a replacement. I think I showed you the hole in this. There's a bit more too. I can see the axle through there. You probably can't see it, but this thing's pretty good and messed up. So what's so weird about this transmission? Why is this hard to find? It's a single speed, basically an MTD. Not that single speeds are hard to find, but this one has the variable drive. That's the small pulley there, the sandwiched pulley. It has it attached to the actual transmission itself. Unlike the gray Craftsman MTD that we're looking at, that the variable drive is sort of on a bracket in front of the transmission. So I can find a lot of those Craftsman ones, but I can't find a lot of these Cub Cadet ones. Any, really. So I guess the cons here are I'm probably going to put on that gray Craftsman's transmission onto this Cub Cadet. I'm going to have to remove some things and try my best to make it work. I think it can work, so that's a good thing, but that means down the road when someone wants to replace some parts, they're not really going to be able to look up a Cub Cadet 1170 and get the same sort of stuff. They're going to have to, I don't know, replace, you know, the item that I've put on there. So I'm going to have to probably document, you know, exactly what I have on the machine so that the next owner can actually have a shot at replacing things like belts, let's say. So I think this will also, some of the pros for this is I think a lot actually make for a fun video. So you're going to see me kind of destroy that Craftsman and bring over its guts and bring it over to the Cub Cadet, and then we're going to see if we can put it together. So I think that's going to be more fun than if I just had a nice transmission that I could slap in there. So yay for the video. Difficult to do though, and you know, obviously a little difficult for the next owner when they have to deal with the fact that, you know, the transmission is not really a Cub Cadet 1170. So in the end, it should function the same. It's really just a variable drive transmission. It's not that fancy. It shouldn't be that complicated, I hope. And I think there's enough room under there to get this done. So let's start tearing apart that Craftsman, see if we can get all the parts that we want, and then we'll, I don't know, start working on the Cub Cadet, see if we can put it together. So the 4 bolts for the transmission came out real easy. Gotta get to those, kind of in the way. This bracket's kind of in the way. Gotta get a lot of belts off. Gotta get this spring unhooked. Another big spring. Yep. So there's quite a bit. Alright, excuse the poor filming. I'm holding this up with one hand, but I actually got it all loose. And this tractor frame now wants to fall on my head. So, I don't know if you could see the way I'm dealing with it, but just holding it up because it's got nothing stabilizing it anymore. So, yeah, that came off like that. Not so bad. There's some bolts right here on the side that I missed when I first showed it to you. So those were a big factor. And then the belts and the linkages actually came off real easy. So I got the wheels off of it, and it's got the same style axle as the Cub Cadet one, so I think there's a chance these Cub Cadet wheels will be able to fit on there. There's a chance. Might be too premature to say that, but so we'll get the rear end lifted up here, and we'll remove some yellow brackets, and we'll see if we can swap in a transmission. Oh yeah, so I mean, again, I'm out of my element. This is looking overwhelming, but I'm just sort of gonna push on for the sake of making a video. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna remove these brackets and hope that I'm not gonna do anything like irreparable. Some of the things I'm thinking, you know, when you push on the go pedal, it moves that, so that should take care of, it's probably gonna eliminate some linkages that used to connect to this, because I have a feeling like this little pulley here is going to be obsolete. I could be wrong. And I think some linkages won't need to transfer from the old machine to this because of that. So like, in other words, my foot pedal is already connected, and all it does is change the tension on the belt, which then should go, you know, and act differently on the variable drive pulley. So I think like that should work. Yeah. We also have this one in here, which I don't even remember. That's under a lot of tension with this big spring, but that is attached to this bracket, and I think this is all coming out. I think that's coming out, but just sort of want to document where that's, in case I want to put this back together for some reason. You know, it's on, there's 3 springs on this one bracket, and that one goes there. Well, it's a few days later, and just been mulling things over and really striking out with even mocking this up. I just don't think that's really gonna fit. There's some framing and things in there that, I don't know, it's just not designed for that. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did come across one on eBay. This is for a 1040, yeah, LTX 1040. What I'm working with here is a 1070. But in any case, transmission looks the same. It doesn't quite have the same numbers, but I think it's the same one. It's, what is it listed for? $229 and like $26 shipping. Again, this is not really if I make that purchase, it's not really wise. Like, that's not a very good purchase. But I'm filming this for YouTube, and my videos make a little bit of money for me, so you know, that helps with some stupid decisions like let's buy a transmission off eBay. So yeah, I can recoup some of that with, hopefully this video does well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, please, so that maybe I make a little bit of money back on it. But I think that's what I'm gonna do. I feel kind of dumb making that decision, but I really do want to see this up and running. And you know, it does seem like a nice engine and all that sort of stuff, and like the tractor, like I said, even the deck is in really good shape. So you know, let's while we're at it, while we're spending some money, let's get some Cub Cadet yellow. Yeah, let's just go on a spending spree and call this a day. All right, let's come back with some workable parts here. Well, it's a couple days later and eBay has delivered. We have a transmission. Here's of course the original one.
Yep.
With the hole in the bottom, and I'll set you up on a tripod here and we'll open this up. We'll do a nice unboxing, see what we have, and see how similar these two transmissions are. I think they'll probably, like, the pulley might be a different size. I don't know. We'll see when we open it up, but let's take a look together.
Unboxing and stuff. Oh, looks like it has a lot of paper in it. Well, that's a lot of paper. Ooh, it's coming out.
Oh, it's upside down.
Ooh. Yeah.
How does it look?
Nice, but a little dirty.
A little dirty? Yeah, pulley looks like it might be a different size.
Yeah. And also these thingies.
Probably hard to tell on camera. This looks just a little bit smaller than this one. Placement looks pretty good. This is like attached a little bit differently. You can see there's a bracket. Looks like there's 3 bolts that hold this bracket in. This one, you know, goes through. But honestly, it looks like it's in the same spot. So obviously what we're gonna see if I can transfer this pulley over to this one. Thing about spinning this one, I can't tell if it's the pulley that's bent. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. Or if it's the shaft, because I was doing some insane sledgehammer work to get the wheels off of this axle here, and eventually I got them, but you know, the transmission was bouncing all around and I think I bent the shaft. I don't think the pulley's bent, at least I can't tell, but that might be a problem. We'll see. In any case, it doesn't look that different. So let's say worst case scenario, we use this pulley, you know, the tractor might go a little slower, but you know, probably not that drastic. So that star pattern adapter, that looks the same, so that's good. So I remember that when I took this one off.
What do you want to talk about?
Maybe it is different. Where was the star pattern? Maybe that was on the other transmission. But might have to switch over some adapters. So I mocked up this transmission. Like I said, I'm gonna go with this pulley. The other one isn't transferable, so we're just gonna see how it rides with that. But these belt guides on this variable drive get in the way of installing the transmission because they're not on the other one. So I'm gonna try to zip them off here. I'm not exactly sure the best way to go about it. But I do have safety glasses on, so at least there's that.
Yeah, that has to hurt.
Does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt.
I'm gonna get headphones before you do another lift.
It's loud. It's gonna be sharp too.
This one. I'm gonna get safety glasses. Are you done? Are you done?
So I tried to mock up the transmission in here, and the transmission lines up just a little to the right of those bolt holes and a little to the right of these bolt holes, and I'll show you what's in the way here. So this bracket, here are the two bolt holes. On the other side, those two. But this bracket is hitting the frame of the tractor, and I mean, interestingly, you can see that black bracket isn't actually screwed into anything. It really just rests on top of the transmission. I think on the original, yeah, these are threaded. You would zip two bolts in there to hold it on as well. But I think what I'm gonna do is just cut with my cutoff wheel, and I can always like cut off a little material and weld this in, like weld it back a ½ inch or so, you know, cut off a little material from here. I really just need a bit of clearance, and then I think we would get it. So I'm gonna do one more hack job with the cutoff wheel. I mean, this isn't too bad. And we'll see if we can get this thing to fit. Yes, sir. So I just have like one bolt in on each side just to show you that it does fit. And hopefully you can see now, you know, how that was in the way. But I do want to support this because it sags a bit now. So I am gonna, I got plenty of room really. I'm gonna cut off, you know, a good 1/4 to ½ inch of that metal, and then just do a few tack welds just to get a little support back into that, just so it rests down on the transmission. It just didn't seem to be flexing before, but now, yeah, you can see that now it flexes, and there will be some torque on that, so yeah. But at least we know that it fits, and the main pulley and the variable drive fit up in there. You know, so as far as like belt sizes go, like, is this belt gonna work now that we have, you know, a slightly smaller diameter pulley? I'm kind of thinking that it will, but it'll just run a little different. You know, maybe we have to eventually get a smaller belt, but I think it's worth a shot just trying to put everything back together. I don't know. I don't think there's that big of a difference between this. I know like a little bit of a difference does sometimes make a lot, so you know, we'll find out. We got to try it, I think, and we'll just keep experimenting until we figure something out that works correctly. so we'll test this, make sure that it fits on the frame, and then we'll come back and we'll weld that up more securely. All right, I did have to take it apart and then cut a little bit more off and then re-weld it, but I ground it down and it's, I mean, it looks factory now. So I'm just gonna hit it with a little paint once it cools down. But I did mock it up and it does fit with the bracket, so now we know, you know, that variable drive will be secure now. It can take a little bit of torque. There's no movement. Yeah, that's solid. All right, one step closer. So this is the replacement transmission, just sort of mocked up here. Trying to get the belts on and have a little bit of a problem here. So this variable drive sits a lot closer to the front of the machine than the old transmission does. You can see all this space in here. So when I mock up the old transmission, you know, it's sitting way further back. So this pulley is like back further, you know, probably by an inch. So that sort of throws some things off because the drive belt, you know, is really loose. Now, so when I step on the go pedal, so that's me stepping on the pedal, that should stretch the belt all the way. Now, even on with the original transmission, this belt never got super tight, especially as it sits here, because this variable drive is at its most slack position. You know, when those plates close, then the belt rides on the outside of the discs and it, you know, takes up some of the slack. But this is, you know, no good. That's just very floppy. So I don't know, I'm just sitting here scratching my head. You know, can I make the transmission sit an inch back that way? Maybe drill 2 more holes. That's probably a possibility. Might even be a decent idea, and it might solve even some problems like the size of that drive pulley is, since that one's a little bit smaller, maybe going backward is good. But what does that do to like the geometry of everything? You know, having the wheel sit further back, is that going to mess things up? Is it going to mess up? You know, this already looks like it's not perfect. You know, this already isn't connected. What about the brakes? It's gonna mess up that, I think. Yep. You know, is there a way to move this pulley back? There could be, I suppose. So that's what I'm thinking about. It's not going together great. Well, I was able to hook up the belt that goes on top here, the belt that goes on the top of the variable drive around the transmission pulley, and then down to a tensioner there. And actually the tension and everything seems correct. If you can see, this tensioner here is attached to a spring, and this is very tight. There was a lot of room for flexibility. The pulley used to sit up a little bit higher, but you know, this is where we're at, and I think it's good. It sat up higher because the transmission pulley was a larger diameter. So I think what I'm going to do is look for a different size drive belt, because that would be the easiest solution instead of changing, you know, where this transmission bolts up. So I have to get all this. I don't think I have to get these. That's for the deck, but I do have to get the PTO off and get this drive belt out. It's rather in there. So, all right, let's see if we can start digging this drive belt out, and then we'll have to experiment with some different size belts. Okay, got the PTO off, but I cannot get off this little drive pulley. It is seized. It looks like there's anti-seize on here, but I think someone just used anti-seize on the PTO, because I see it covered there. So unfortunately
this thing is not coming off, and I do not feel like, I don't know, a couple different things I could do to try to get this drive belt off, because it does have belt keepers, 3 different belt keepers. Could try to bend those belt keepers, but I keep bending the pulley. So I did have one more idea here, and that was to use an idler. So there is enough framing here, there's this bracket that I could drill into and get myself an idler that would take up the slack on that belt. And there's a couple good things about that, because then that could allow the OEM belt size to be true, and it would be the least amount of modifications. You know, I suppose if someone was going to replace this belt, let's say they, you know, had someone better than me and they were able to get that pulley off and they were to replace the drive belt, they could order the same drive belt, or the drive belt that should go to this machine. You know, even though the transmission is a little bit different, the belt size would be the same. So I kind of like the sound of that. And I think for my skills, installing that is a lot easier than manhandling and breaking all sorts of things to get that drive pulley off. So I think that's what I'm going to do. To do a belt keeper. I'm thinking of actually whether or not that's actually tight enough, or if I should move that. I don't know if I can at this point. It's still pretty loose, but like I said, it was supposed to be loose, because again the variable drive is in its most loose position, I think. Well, I know it is, I just hope this is how it's supposed to be. Or I could try to move this pulley. I don't know. Alright, I have most things hooked back up. PTO is reattached. I even did the shifter. Had to do some welding there. But I think I have all 3 positions. This is all bolted on. And we're getting ready to drop it and put the wheels back on. Seeing what this thing can do. All right, everybody, I'm dying to see if this thing works. Let's start it up, put it in gear, see if we can back it out of the shed. Off camera, I've been working on the springs, so like the pedals return and everything. Everything seems halfway decent. We're in neutral. I think I showed you that I welded up that shifting rod, so this actually works correctly. Let's give it a try.
smoky there, but it works correctly. I'm actually surprised it isn't smoking more than that because I had it tilted up for so long. This thing sounds great now. Oh, hey, bud, our tractor.
Look out, see what the jug where this yogurt is.
Having some yogurt. Carmen, you're bigger than the last time you were showing on YouTube. Hey, puppy. Actually did have this on the shelf. This Cub Cadet yellow is pretty nice stuff. This is the real paint here. Part number 7593940. It's like $35 per can. But if you want the right color, I know there's some, you know, substitute colors that you could get. I've had some decent success with other yellows, but that is the correct one. So we'll be doing a little touch-up paint. Yeah, sorry it didn't work out, tractor. And we got some touch-up paint to do on the deck, but since things are rocking and rolling right now, let's get these blades off. We'll sharpen them. We'll give the tractor a power wash, start looking at where we want to touch up some paint, and this thing is coming together. If you remember at the beginning of the video, I did engage the blades. The PTO works, the mowing deck sounded pretty good. The engine was stumbling a little bit, so I didn't have a battery in it, I think was probably the problem with the electric PTO, but now I have this like bad battery. But the tractor is charging the battery, I did check that out. The oil is pretty good in this. I don't know, I'm like 50-50 whether I'm going to change the oil or not. I know I usually do, but I don't know, we'll see.
There's a man around the corner, he's been asking me for change, and I could use some. Think I could use some sometimes. All these things slow me down, like the concrete that's been sticking to the bottom of my shoes. Soles worn and tired have started wearing through. I can feel them heavier now. There's a hole here in my pocket, it reminds me of the ways I am hungry, always running.
And I don't think you can ask for a smoother running engine right now. I do have to keep my eye on a bit of smoking. I've been expecting smoke. Like I said, I had this thing tilted to work on the rear end a lot, so it was very smoky in the beginning. Obviously it's not sitting here smoking, but you know, you adjust the throttle a little bit and you do see a puff of smoke sometimes. So that might just be residual, you know. Hopefully it doesn't have like a blown head gasket or something like that. It doesn't really sound like it, but definitely need to test it out some. And my grass is pretty long here, so what I'm thinking is, you know, I'll mow with this thing, give it a really good test. I'm just sort of debating whether I want to paint it first and then mow. Right now I have the time to paint, or I have the time to mow. I don't really have time to do both. I mean, I can always mow tomorrow, I guess. So anyway, I'd love to get this thing painted up, so I think I'm gonna do that. Today's a really nice, beautiful Saturday. So, you know, it's one of those things where you're like, great day to do the yard. Feels like it's, I don't know, 68 degrees, and a little overcast. Beautiful end of September day. Love this weather. Still enough leaves on the trees where it's not too messy. It's gonna get more leaves very soon, but yeah, who knows what will happen with this thing. You know, will someone buy it this season? Probably not. You know, at this point I'm in a lot of money on this, and this is not gonna sell for a lot of money, right? I think everyone knows that. These don't fetch a lot, but the better I can make it look, you know. But I just don't want to take like a really bad price on this. I would almost rather hold on to it till next year. But anyway, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's pop these foot treads off and see what we're working with here with a little chipping paint, and see what we can touch up. Pretty dirty under there. The other side's even worse. Get that cleaned up a bit. So everything's ground down, degreased, cleaned up, dried, and primed. Just wanted to get you a before look. Well, it's a breezy day. We're not really set up in a great spot to paint, but we'll see what we can get done.
painted the grass deflector. Just letting that dry in the sun a little bit. Let me show you how the tractor turned out. See if I can't keep my shadow out of it for you guys. Boy, this thing's shaped up nice. How's that OEM paint? At first it looked like it might be a little bit off, but it is dead on. Even got that seat a little bit put back together. It was coming undone on the other side. Yeah, I know my shadow. That came out nice, huh? Look at that. I'm telling you, it is worth spending the time doing stuff like that if you're flipping tractors. I don't know if people are as picky in your place as they are around mine, but you know, they'll sit here and like pick at paint and go, you know, what happened there with a tractor? I'm actually trying to sell my car. Same thing with the car. You know, it's a used car. It's got a little crack in the plastic on the outside. They walked away. They didn't even want to test drive it. I don't know. People around here, they want something used and they want it to be almost better than new with a warranty. Yeah, it's kind of unbelievable in Connecticut. So I think this is a 2001, at least the engine is a 2001. I mean, it probably won't sell. But I bet a lot of you guys are like, yeah, of course it'll sell. Well, you know, it's the end of the mowing season. It's got a rip in the seat. It's a 2001. I don't know. We'll see. It'll probably sell in the spring. That's really the best time to sell things. But all right, I want to wait a couple minutes for that. Actually, you know what I want to do? I was thinking I would wait a couple minutes for the grass deflector and put it on and then show you guys, but I think I'm going to bring it into the shop and change the oil, because I am a little worried about this thing smoking, and I want to give it the best shot possible to make sure it's not smoking for the next person who buys it. So I do want to get fresh oil in there. I figure the best thing I can do is get good oil, make sure there's no gasoline in the oil, make sure it's at the right level, get a new filter on there, and then start from a good baseline. We'll mow the lawn, test it out, see how it's doing. Yeah, it's some pretty black oil. Definitely worth changing it. Kind of smells old too. Probably just a tint of gasoline in there. This is the sort of stuff that'll drive someone insane. You know, you're getting real close to the finishing touches, and then you just can't get the oil filter off. Probably the original oil filter, 300 hours, just seized as anything on there. Gonna have to go out to the store, buy some other tool that I don't have, just to get this off. Yeah, I know some of you guys feel me. All right, came back from Tractor Supply. Oh, it moved. Come on. That thing is really on there. All right. Worth the investment. What are these things? I don't know. GW3508. There's not even a name on it. All right, well, transmission works great, mows great. About every minute it blows, it kind of bogs down and blows a huge plume of smoke. But yeah, that's not good. So that engine does sound great, but it's not working great. We can't have that happening. And the oil change did us no favors, and I even like underfilled it a little bit just to make sure I wasn't over. And yeah. All right, what do you guys think? Head gasket, valve issue? Kind of doubting valves because it runs so good and starts easily. I'm guessing head gasket. I mean, it could be rings. That'd be terrible. But it doesn't have that many hours. 330 for that engine. I don't think that's a lot. So I'm gonna go head gasket. Stuff like this drives you nuts. Can't get this engine cover off because it can't get that last bolt out because it backs up into the gas tank. There we go. I think we got everything loose. There we go. Oh yeah, that looks pretty blown to me. Stuck on there pretty good too. Yep, very blown. Well, that's a good sign. That's really what you want the problem to be at this point. Sorry if I'm not filming this well. I have myself about 1.5 feet to cram my body in there and film for you. But yeah, bad head gasket. I think I have a new one of those. I usually keep a bunch of them. So we'll search here. That's one right there, behind this one. All right, so we'll get that down and start putting this back together. Well, it's the next day, and yesterday I couldn't find a new head gasket, so I went ahead and placed an order on Amazon. Comes with 2 head gaskets, a valve cover gasket, some other stuff. So pretty good deal. That's supposed to be here now, but it isn't. So I went ahead and just stripped this down. This is the, what's it called? The LT1500. You know, I was gonna use the transmission from this for the Cub Cadet, but it didn't work out. But I don't know about you guys, but I just love stripping down tractors for their parts. This stuff is just really interesting to me. And I mean, I think we're all a bit of a hoarder at times when we do this hobby. So just like getting things like headlights, steering wheel, cup holder, and I'll never pass up a good working solenoid. Even things like springs I like to keep. All these handles, this is the foot, the clutch and brake. These front tires were really good too. Even got the nubbies on them still. Yeah. A bumper. This is nice. You know, I could go on a lot of different things. I'll even keep this hood even though it doesn't have the headlight lens. But yeah, I think that's about all that I want to get off this. I was thinking about keeping the seat. I mean, obviously it's toast, but yeah, I don't think I'm going to keep it. A lot of times I would take the axle too, but this is bent from the beginning, as you remember. Yeah, I took the throttle. I don't think I'm going to take that. I didn't take all the wiring. Yeah, I mean, you have to stop at some point, so I'm going to bring this out to the curb. Hopefully scrappers will take it. That's the next day, and just surveying the damage that is this project crammed into my shed. Yeah, we do have some new parts, so we're going to install this new head gasket. Someone said something about how your messy workbench like reflects your work ethic or something, or I don't know. Soak it in, guys. If that's what you think, let me know in the comments what you think of my work ethic or whatever. Keep in mind, I have a full-time job. Alright, can't remember if I showed you this. All cleaned up. Alright, let's put this head gasket on, get the head on, adjust our valves, replace any gaskets we can. We gotta finish this thing up. Video's getting long, isn't it? Hope you guys enjoy. We're getting there. Takes a while to get these things put back together, like double shroud, lots of screws. Obviously we set the valves and have all that squared away. Tank put back on. Alright, time to do the hood. Always such a good feeling when all the nuts and bolts are gone. Means we potentially have this all put back together correctly. I'm gonna roll it out of here. Give it a start. All right. Let's see what's going to happen here. I think that runs great. It does actually feel stronger too. I'm going to test it some more, guys, but I think we solved it. Blown head gasket and a bad transmission. Well, again, I hope you guys like the long format of videos like this. I have a lot of fun making these. I have to be really patient with the project and make sure obviously we finish it and everything. But this was a pretty fun one. This was a 2001 Cub Cadet 1170. If you remember from the beginning of the video, I picked this up from the local power equipment repair store near me, and I bought that whole batch. I think it was 5 machines, 1 tractor, 4 lawnmowers for 150 bucks. I knew it was a blown transmission, so this was going to be a challenge for me because I don't ever do transmissions, and I have a feeling a lot of you guys don't either. They usually work. Usually it's belts and things like that, but every now and then you do have one that's actually a damaged transmission. So that was the case with this one, and I knew I was going to be trying to swap something, so I was kind of up for the challenge. That Craftsman didn't work out, obviously, so that was kind of failed, but hopefully that was fun to watch. And then I went and spent a little bit too much money on a eBay transmission, but man, I tell you what, that thing worked out great. So kind of got lucky. I mean, I think I did enough things right and got lucky with a lot of parts that it actually worked out great. And then, of course, right at the end, we had a blown head gasket, which, you know, that's what happens with machines like that. Something with 300 hours, sometimes that happens. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Looking forward to making more with you guys. My name is Kyle. The channel's called Kyle by the Creek. Please like and subscribe. This past month was actually my best month yet on YouTube, so thank you so much. And to all the new subscribers, welcome, and feel free to comment on the videos. I try to get to each and every one of you. I'm usually pretty good at that. So feel free to make some comments and I'll reply. Thanks guys, we'll see you on the next one.